I need you to look at this. A guy is out fishing while AI handles his work. Someone else is playing tennis while AI is doing scientific research. Another person is bouldering while AI puts together spreadsheets. And honestly, I love this. This is the future of AI I want to talk about. Not another dramatic house on fire. Not another trailer trying to convince me the robot apocalypse is scheduled for Thursday. Just people living their lives while technology handles more of the tedious, difficult work in the background. And the model at the center of that vision is QWEN 3.8 Max. This thing is huge. It has 2.4 trillion total parameters, with 95 billion active at a time. More parameters do not automatically mean a better model, but that number tells you the scale Alibaba is operating at here. This is not a cute little experimental release. This is a frontier model. And QWEN says it is the first time the company will release open weights for one of its max scale models. That matters so much, because open weights mean businesses are not forced to rent every ounce of intelligence from one closed company forever. They can choose a provider, serve the model on their own infrastructure, and fine-tune it for their own work. And I am sorry, but options are what this industry needs right now. Now let us talk about the benchmarks. But before anybody celebrates a spreadsheet like it came down from the heavens, benchmarks can be gamed. A model can look amazing on a test and fall apart on a messy real-world project. So take the numbers seriously, but do not worship them. With that said, these numbers are ridiculous. On Terminal Bench 2.1, which tests whether an AI can operate inside a computer terminal and complete technical tasks, QWEN 3.8 Max scored 86.6, Fable scored 84.6, GPT 5.6 Sol scored 88.8. So QWEN is sitting right there with the best closed models in the world. On PaperBench, which tests whether an AI agent can reproduce research, QWEN scored 93.0. That was higher than Fable at 88.8 and GPT 5.6 Sol at 90.5. The broader benchmark table tells the same story. QWEN is extremely strong in multi-modeled reasoning, document and office intelligence, real-world and spatial understanding, visual perception, and video intelligence. It does not win every category. Fable is still stronger across several coding and visual agent tests. Good. I do not need QWEN to win every single row to see what is happening here. An open weight model is competing at the frontier. That is the story. But the benchmark that really made me stop was the research paper test. QWEN 3.8 Max was given a paper and access to GPUs. No starter code, no neat little ready-made pipeline. It had to read the paper, understand the idea, rebuild the experiment, write the code, run the training, and see if it could reproduce the results. That alone is incredibly difficult. The model spent about 37 hours rebuilding the paper's pipeline from zero. It wrote roughly 7,600 lines of code and ran 33 rounds of GPU training. But then it did something much more interesting. It did not stop after reproducing the paper. It started trying to improve it. For another roughly 88 hours, it ran a loop, form a hypothesis, write the code, test it on the GPUs, analyze what happened, and try again. It invented and tested 18 improvement ideas across 4 rounds. Each result influenced the next idea. And eventually, it produced a method that beat the paper's reproduced baseline by 2.7 points on the AIME 24 math benchmark. Do you understand why I am excited about this? This is not an AI giving you a pretty summary of a PDF. This is an AI reading an idea, rebuilding the work, testing its own ideas, learning from failure, and improving the result. The original direction still came from human researchers, I am not saying the model woke up and became a scientist. I am saying this is the loop you would need for increasingly automated AI research, and QWEN showed it running for days. Then there is the chip design example, which is just wild. QWEN says the model automatically worked through an entire silicon design flow, restructuring logic, balancing constraints, testing the design, reducing the gate count, and generating a physical layout. Again, in normal language, it did not answer one question about a chip. It worked through a long chain of engineering steps, checked its work, responded to feedback, and kept improving the design. That ability to stay on a difficult task is the real upgrade. The future is not one perfect prompt. The future is giving an AI a goal and having it work through the boring middle without needing a human to hold its hand every 30 seconds. And now we get to the part that I think could change things for smaller businesses: the price. The open router pricing in our research shows QWEN 3.8 max at $2 per million input tokens and $6 per million output tokens. GPT 5.6 Sol is $5 in and $30 out. Fable is $10 in and $50 out. Look at that difference. If you are a giant company, maybe you can casually throw the most expensive model at every problem. Most businesses cannot do that. A small e-commerce company, an agency, a local service business, or a tiny startup has to care about whether an AI workflow is affordable every single day, not just during a flashy demo. At QWEN's price, a smaller team can use AI for documents, spreadsheets, supplier research, competitive research, customer conversations, and repeatable back-office tasks. Not as a novelty, every day. That is where AI becomes real for business. When the question changes from, can this model do something impressive, to, can I afford to let it do useful work all week? Now, one important reality check. Price per token is not the whole price. If a cheaper model needs 3 or 4 times as many tokens and keeps retrying a task, it may not actually be cheaper. Artificial analysis measures cost per completed task for exactly this reason. It combines token prices with how much work the model has to do to finish the job. At the point reflected in our research, QWEN 3.8 max did not yet have that independent cost per task result. So I am excited, but I am not going to invent the answer. We need to see how efficiently it performs outside Alibaba's own benchmark table. Still, the direction is obvious. Closed labs are charging premium prices, while Chinese open weight models keep getting closer in capability and pushing the price down. For most businesses, you do not need the absolute best model on planet Earth for every email, spreadsheet, report, or research task. If an open model gives you most of the capability at a fraction of the cost, what do you think companies are going to choose? Exactly. There is a geopolitical tension here. These leading open models are coming from China. A US business does not have to send its private data there. A US provider can run the model on US infrastructure, but heavy dependence on Chinese models and eventually optimized hardware creates a real strategic risk. I can hold both thoughts at the same time. I can be thrilled that Alibaba, Moonshot, and DeepSeek are giving the world powerful alternatives, and I can recognize that dependence has consequences. But right now, for developers, entrepreneurs, and smaller businesses, this competition is good. It means lower prices. It means more control. It means less platform risk. It means the best AI tools are not reserved for the companies with the biggest budgets. So, is open source AI winning? Yes, because winning does not mean topping every benchmark forever. Winning means changing what people can access. Winning means forcing the closed labs to compete. Winning means a small team can use serious AI without setting its budget on fire. QWEN 3.8 Max is not just another model release. It is pressure, it is optionality, and it is a giant 2.4 trillion parameter reminder that frontier AI is not going to stay inside a tiny expensive club, and I am extremely excited to see what people build with it. Let me know what you think. Does open source eventually commoditize intelligence, or do the closed labs keep their lead through more compute and faster self-improvement? Because this race just got a lot more out. Don't forget to like and subscribe.